But one of like the key moments from 2020 that they missed was the big moment in January of 2020 when the unfortunate passing of Kobe Bryant and his daughter, and that kind of they didn't touch on it, they didn't mention it, but then they talked obviously the big one, COVID. Then they also talked on the donkey in the White House, and then that was kind of where they left it, right? When you guys were watching, were there other key moments from 2020 that they missed?
Well, I just want to touch on the Kobe Bryant thing real quick. It is a British production. And as global as Kobe Bryant was, I'm not sure that he touched England necessarily in a huge way. So, I sort of I look at it through that lens. It was a British production, so they were probably more focused on the macro stuff that happened, and not to say that Kobe wasn't a macro level event. It certainly was, but they definitely seemed to go in with a very a focus, like this is what we're going to focus on. I feel like there were a couple other things, but they're actually not coming to mind right now. But that it's probably related to being a British production.
Yeah, I'll also say this about Kobe, because when I watched it, I was like, wow, they skipped Kobe.
Yeah.
And I think it's because they had a level of satire to everything. Like, even with George Floyd and Black Lives Matter, they took the angle of making fun of the Karens and or as they called it, the Kathys of the world. And then even the social media influencer who's like, I'm going to post the black square and I got to tell everyone that I care and all this stuff. And then I think it's like Joe Keery from Stranger Things is like, I'm black. Right. So they took that angle of making fun of that part. Obviously, they had Samuel L. Jackson do like a very nice, serious discussion about it, and then they did that part. But I think with Kobe, I don't think there's really any angle to satirize, right? You couldn't really make fun of anything because it was just such a tragedy. So I think probably the best idea was just to leave it alone.
Just don't touch it.
Yeah. Because I don't know what you would have made fun of necessarily.
Also, and that would have been the introduction to the whole thing. And if it's a mockumentary and your entire tone is satire, to start with an event that you can't make fun of. So let's say they did it serious, and then to get into the rest of it, you probably lose a lot of your audience on that first one if you're coming in expecting some kind of comedic catharsis, which I think is what the point of this whole thing was. It was a little bit cathartic for me to watch the last ridiculousness of the year played out in this like kind of a funny way, and I thought all the actors did a great job. So that actually makes a lot of sense. I didn't think of it from that level, but to start off something that's supposed to be funny and entertaining, and almost like making light of how ridiculous last year was.
Yeah.
To start off with that level, it wouldn't have worked. It would have been too much of a tonal shift, maybe.